Welcome to RLP Audiobooks channel, the channel that brings forgotten books back to life in audio format, so you can listen to whenever and wherever you desire, whether you're driving, chilling, and even sleeping. Please consider subscribing to the channel and click the notifications button so you don't miss out on any other videos. Now, relax, listen, ponder, and enjoy.
Surah 17. Al-Isra. Context. Period of revelation. The very first verse indicates that this surah was revealed on the occasion of the Ascension. Mirage. According to the narrations hadith, on the life of the Prophet, this event happened 1 year before migration, Hijrah. Thus, this surah was revealed in the last stage of prophethood in Mecca. Background. The Prophet had been propagating monotheism, Tawheed, for 12 years now. In spite of all the opposition, Islam had spread to every corner of Arabia, and there was hardly a clan which had not been influenced by the invitation. In Mecca itself, the true believers had formed themselves into a small community. A large number of the people from the Aus and Hazraj tribes, two influential clans of Medina, had also now accepted Islam. Thus, the time had come for the Muslims to emigrate from Mecca to Medina, at behest of the Aus and Hazraj, to establish an Islamic state. The theme and topics. This surah is a wonderful balance of warning and instruction. The disbelievers of Mecca are warned to take a lesson from the chastisement of the Israelites and other past civilizations. They should therefore accept the message of Islam before they too are annihilated and replaced. The Israelites, with whom Islam was now going to come in direct contact with, in Medina, are also admonished in the surah and told to heed the chastisements that had historically been inflicted upon them. They are warned to take advantage of the prophethood of the Prophet Muhammad as the last opportunity for them. As regards the education of mankind, it has been stressed that human success or failure, gain or loss, depends upon the right understanding of monotheism, life after death, and prophethood. Accordingly, convincing arguments have been put forward to prove that the Qur'an is the book of God, and its teachings are true and genuine. The doubts of the disbelievers about these basic realities are removed, and they are admonished and rebuked in regard to their ways of ignorance. In connection with this, the fundamental principles of morality and civilization, on which the Islamic way of life is established, have been put forward. This was like a manifesto for the intended Islamic State, which had been proclaimed a year before its actual establishment. It has been explicitly stated that this was the sketch of the system on which the Prophet Muhammad was instructed to build the foundations of society. The Prophet was also instructed to stay firm, regardless of the opposition and difficulties which he was encountering, and not to compromise belief. Moreover, prayer, Salah, was prescribed, in order to reform and purify their souls, producing the high qualities of character essential to faith. Incidentally, we learned from Hadith that Ascension was the first occasion on which the 5 daily prayers were prescribed. Surah 17. Al-Isra.
The night journey. The surah is also known as Bani Israel, the children of Israel.
In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful, exalted,
above any imperfection or failure to do as he wills,
is he who took his servant,
Prophet Muhammad,
by night, from Al-Masjid al-Haram to Al-Masjid al-Aqsa,
in Jerusalem,
whose surroundings we have blessed, to show him of our signs. Indeed, he is the hearing, the seeing. And we gave Moses the book, and made it a guidance for the children of Israel, that you not take other than me as disposer of affairs.
Meaning, trust in God, knowing that he is responsible for every occurrence.
O descendants of those we carried in the ship, with Noah. Indeed he was a grateful servant. And we conveyed,
Foretold, out of divine knowledge, of what they would do,
to the children of Israel in the book, that you will surely cause corruption on the earth twice, and you will surely reach a degree of great haughtiness. So when the time of promise came, for the first of them,
meaning the promised punishment, for the first of their 2 transgressions,
we sent against you servants of ours, those of great military might, and they probed, even into the homes,
violating their sanctity, to kill and plunder.
And it was a promise fulfilled. Then we gave back to you a return victory over them. And we reinforced you with wealth and sons, and made you more numerous in manpower. And said, if you do good, you do good for yourselves, and if you do evil,
you do it
to them.
Meaning, yourselves.
Then when the final,
second
promise came, we sent your enemies to sadden your faces, and to enter the masjid,
the temple in Jerusalem,
as they entered it the first time, and to destroy what they had taken over, with total destruction. Then God said, maybe your Lord will have mercy upon you. But if you return to sin, we will return to punishment. And we have made hell, for the disbelievers, a prison. Indeed this Qur'an guides to that which is most upright, and gives good tidings to the believers, who do righteous deeds, that they will have a great reward. And that those who do not believe in the hereafter, we have prepared for them a painful punishment. And the human supplicates for evil, when angry, as he supplicates for good, and the human being is ever hasty,
impatient, emotional, and acting without forethought.
And we have made the night and day 2 signs, and we erase the sign of the night, and made the sign of the day visible,
or giving sight,
that you may seek bounty from your Lord, and may know the number of years, and the account of time. And everything we have set out in detail. And for every human being, we have imposed his fate upon his neck.
Meaning, after having instructed him, we have made him responsible for his own destiny.
And we will produce, for him on the day of resurrection, a record which he will encounter, spread open. It will be said, read your record. Today your own self is enough to calculate your account. Whoever is guided, is only guided for the benefit of his soul. And whoever errs, only errs against it. And no bearer of burdens will bear the burden of another. And never would we punish, until we sent a messenger. And when we intend to destroy a city, we command its affluent
to obey God.
But they defiantly disobey therein, so the word
deserved decree
comes into effect upon it, and we destroy it with complete destruction. And how many have we destroyed from the generations after Noah? And sufficient is your Lord concerning the sins of his servants, as acquainted and seeing. Whoever should desire the immediate,
meaning worldly gratifications,
we hasten for him from it what we will, to whom we intend. Then we have made for him hell, which he will enter to burn, censured and banished. But whoever desires the hereafter, and exerts the effort due to it, while he is a believer, it is those whose effort is ever appreciated by God. To each category we extend, to these, and to those, from the gift of your Lord, and never has the gift of your Lord been restricted. Look how we have favored in provision, some of them, over others. But the hereafter is greater, in degrees of difference, and greater in distinction. Do not make us equal with God another deity, and thereby become censured and forsaken. And your Lord has decreed that you not worship except him, and to parents the best treatment. Whether one, or both of them, reach old age, while with you, say not to them so much as, oof,
an expression of disapproval or irritation.
And do not repel them, but speak to them a noble word. And lower to them the wing of humility out of mercy, and say, My Lord, have mercy upon them, as they brought me up, when I was small. Your Lord is most knowing of what is within yourselves. If you should be righteous in intention, then indeed He is ever, to the often returning to Him, forgiving.
For those who intend righteousness, hastening to repent from sins and errors committed through human weakness, God promises forgiveness.
And give the relative his right, and also the poor, and the traveler, and do not spend wastefully.
Meaning, on that which is unlawful, or in disobedience to God.
Indeed the wasteful are brothers of the devils, and ever has Satan been to his Lord ungrateful. And if you must turn away from them,
The needy.
Awaiting mercy from your Lord, which you expect.
Meaning, if you have not the means to give them at present,
Then speak to them a gentle word, and do not make your hand as chained to your neck,
meaning, refusing to spend,
or extend it completely,
meaning, being extravagant,
and thereby become blamed and insolvent. Indeed your Lord extends provision for whom He wills and restricts it. Indeed He is ever, concerning His servants, acquainted, and seeing. And do not kill your children, for fear of poverty. We provide for them, and for you. Indeed their killing is ever a great sin. And do not go near unlawful sexual intercourse.
meaning, avoid all situations that might possibly lead to it.
Indeed it is ever an immorality, and is evil as a way. And do not kill the soul,
Person,
which God has forbidden, except by right.
meaning, through legal justice, or during jihad.
And whoever is killed unjustly, we have given his heir authority.
Grounds for legal action.
But let him not exceed limits in the matter of taking life. Indeed he has been supported by the law. And do not go near the wealth of an orphan, except in the way that is best,
Meaning, to improve, or increase it.
until he reaches maturity, and fulfill every commitment. Indeed the commitment is ever that, about which one will be questioned. And give full measure, when you measure, and weigh with an even
Honest.
balance. That is the best way, and best in result. And do not pursue
Meaning, do not assume, and do not say,
that of which you have no knowledge. Indeed the hearing, the sight, and the heart, about all those, one will be questioned. And do not walk upon the earth, exultantly. Indeed you will never tear the earth apart, and you will never reach the mountains in height.
Man, for all his arrogance, is yet a weak and small creature.
All that,
The aforementioned,
its evil is ever, in the sight of your Lord, detested. That is from what your Lord has revealed to you, O Muhammad, of wisdom. And O mankind, do not make as equal with God another deity, lest you be thrown into hell, blamed, and banished. Then has your Lord chosen you for
having,
sons, and taken
meaning, adopted,
from among the angels daughters? Indeed you say, a grave saying. And we have certainly diversified the contents in this Qur'an, that they,
mankind,
may be reminded, but it does not increase them,
the disbelievers.
except in aversion. Say, O Muhammad, if there had been with him other gods, as they say, then they each would have sought, to the owner of the throne, a way
To please him, recognizing his superiority. Another interpretation is, they would seek a way to depose him and take over his throne.
Exalted is he, and high above what they say, by great sublimity. The seven heavens, and the earth, and whatever is in them, exalt him. And there is not a thing, except that it exalts God by his praise. But you do not understand their way of exalting. Indeed he is ever forbearing and forgiving. And when you recite the Qur'an, we put between you and those who do not believe in the hereafter a concealed partition,
Preventing guidance from reaching them.
and we have placed over their hearts coverings, lest they understand it, and in their ears deafness. And when you mention your Lord alone in the Qur'an, they turn back in aversion. We are most knowing of how they listen to it, when they listen to you, and of when they are in private conversation. When the wrongdoers say, "You follow not, but a man affected by magic." Look how they strike for you comparisons,
describing the prophet as a poet, a madman, or one under the influence of sorcery.
But they have strayed, so they cannot find a way. And they say, "When we are bones, and crumbled particles, will we truly be resurrected, as a new creation?" Say, "Be you stones, or iron."
Even if you should be stones, or iron,
or any creation, of that which is great,
such as the heavens, and the earth,
within your breasts. And they will say, "Who will restore us?" Say, "He, who brought you forth the first time." Then they will nod their heads toward you,
in disbelief, and ridicule.
And say, "When is that?" Say, "Perhaps it will be soon, on the day he will call you." And you will respond with praise of him, and think that you had not remained in the world, except for a little. And tell my servants, to say that which is best. Indeed Satan induces dissension among them. Indeed Satan is ever, to the human being, a clear enemy. Your Lord is most knowing of you. If he wills, he will have mercy upon you, or if he wills, he will punish you. And we have not sent you, O Muhammad, to be responsible over them. And your Lord is most knowing of whoever is in the heavens and the earth. And we have made some of the prophets exceed others in various ways, and to David we gave the book. Say, "Invoke those you have claimed as gods, besides him, for they do not possess the ability for removal of adversity from you, or for its transfer to someone else. Those whom they invoke
among the righteous, of God's creation, such as angels, prophets, deceased scholars, etc.,
seek means of access to their Lord, striving as to which of them would be nearest, and they hope for his mercy, and fear his punishment. Indeed the punishment of your Lord is ever feared. And there is no city, but that we will destroy it,
because of the sins of its inhabitants,
before the day of resurrection, or punish it with a severe punishment. That has ever been in the register,
the preserved slate, al-Law al-Mahfuz, which is with God,
inscribed. And nothing has prevented us from sending signs,
meaning miracles,
except that the former peoples denied them. And we gave Thamud, the she-camel, as a visible sign, but they wronged her. And we sent not the signs, except as a warning. And remember, O Muhammad, when we told you, indeed your Lord has encompassed the people
in his knowledge and power, meaning that God would protect him from their harm.
And we did not make the sight, which we showed you,
during the mirage, ascension into the heavens,
except as a trial, for the people, as was the accursed tree mentioned in the Qur'an. And we threaten,
meaning, warn
them, but it increases them not, except in great transgression. And mention when we said to the angels, prostrate to Adam, and they prostrated, except for Iblis,
the proper name of Satan, who was not an angel, but from the jinn, as stated in Surah 18, verse 50, done in obedience to God. This prostration was one of respect, not worship.
He said, "Should I prostrate to one you created from clay?" Iblis said, "Do you see this one, whom you have honored above me? If you delay me, my death, until the day of resurrection, I will surely destroy,
by tempting them and leading them astray,
his descendants, except for a few." God said, "Go, for whoever of them follows you. Indeed hell will be the recompense of all of you, an ample recompense. And incite whoever you can, among them with your voice, and assault them with your horses, and foot soldiers, and become a partner in their wealth, and their children, and promise them. But Satan does not promise them, except illusion. Indeed over my servants, there is for you no authority. And sufficient is your Lord, as disposer of affairs. It is your Lord, who drives the ship for you, through the sea, that you may seek of his bounty. Indeed he is ever to you, merciful. And when adversity touches you, at sea, lost are all those you invoke, except for him. But when he delivers you, to the land, you turn away from him. And ever is the human being ungrateful. Then do you feel secure, that instead, he will not cause a part of the land to swallow you, or send against you a storm of stones? Then you would not find for yourselves an advocate. Or do you feel secure that he will not send you back into it, the sea, another time, and send upon you a hurricane of wind, and drown you, for what you denied?
Or, for your disbelief?
Then you would not find for yourselves against us an avenger.
Or, someone to demand restitution.
And we have certainly honored the children of Adam, and carried them on the land, and sea, and provided for them of the good things, and preferred them over much of what we have created, with definite preference. Mention, O Muhammad, the day we will call forth every people with their record of deeds.
Other meanings are, with their leader, or, with that which they had followed.
Then whoever is given his record in his right hand, those will read their records, and injustice will not be done to them, even as much as a thread inside the date seed. And whoever is blind,
meaning, refusing to see the truth,
in this life, will be blind in the hereafter, and more astray from the path. And indeed they were about to tempt you away from that which we revealed to you, in order to make you invent about us something else, and then they would have taken you as a friend. And if we had not strengthened you, you would have almost inclined to them a little. Then if you had, we would have made you taste double punishment in life, and double after death. Then you would not find for yourself against us a helper. And indeed they were about to provoke,
drive
you from the land,
Mecca,
to evict you therefrom. And
then,
when they do, they will not remain there after you, except for a little.
Only 10 years after the Prophet's emigration, Mecca was completely cleared of his enemies.
That is our established way, for those we had sent before you, of our messengers, and you will not find in our way any alteration. Establish prayer at the decline of the sun, from its meridian, until the darkness of the night.
Meaning, the period which includes the Zohr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha prayers.
And also, the Qur'an recitation of dawn.
Meaning, the Fajr prayer, in which the recitation of the Qur'an is prolonged.
Indeed the recitation of dawn is ever witnessed. And from part of the night, pray.
Literally, arise from sleep for prayer.
With it,
recitation of the Qur'an.
As additional worship for you, it is expected that
this is a promise from God to the Prophet Muhammad.
Your Lord will resurrect you to a praise station,
the position of intercession by permission of God, and the highest degree in paradise.
And say, My Lord, cause me to enter a sound entrance
into Medina, at the time of emigration, or into the grave,
and to exit a sound exit
from Mecca, or from the grave, at the time of resurrection.
And grant me from yourself a supporting authority. And say, Truth has come, and falsehood has departed. Indeed is falsehood, by nature, ever bound to depart. And we send down of the Qur'an that which is healing and mercy for the believers, but it does not increase the wrongdoers, except in loss. And when we bestow favor upon the human being, he turns away, and distances himself, and when evil touches him, he is ever despairing. Say, each works according to his manner, but your Lord is most knowing of who is best guided in way. And they ask you, O Muhammad, about the soul. Say, the soul is of the affair,
concern,
of my Lord, and you,
mankind,
have not been given of knowledge, except a little. And if we willed, we could surely do away with that which we revealed to you. Then you would not find for yourself, concerning it, an advocate, against us. Except we have left it with you, as a mercy from your Lord. Indeed his favor upon you, has ever been great. Say, if mankind and the jinn, gathered in order to produce the like of this Qur'an, they could not produce the like of it, even if they were to each other, assistants. And we have certainly diversified, for the people in this Qur'an, from every kind of example, but most of the people refused anything except disbelief. And they say, we will not believe you, until you break open for us, from the ground, a spring, or until you have a garden of palm trees, and grapes, and make rivers gush forth, within them, in force and abundance. Or you make the heaven fall upon us, in fragments as you have claimed. Or you bring God and the angels, before us, or you have a house of ornament. Gold, or you ascend into the sky. And even then, we will not believe in your ascension, until you bring down to us a book we may read. Say, exalted is my Lord, was I ever but a human messenger? And what prevented the people from believing, when guidance came to them, except that they said, has God sent a human messenger? Say, if there were upon the earth angels, walking securely,
meaning, who were settled and established there, as is man,
we would have sent down to them, from the heaven, an angel as a messenger. Say, sufficient is God as witness, between me and you. Indeed he is ever, concerning his servants, acquainted, and seeing. And whoever God guides, he is the rightly guided, and whoever he sends astray,
as a result of his own preference,
you will never find for them protectors besides him. And we will gather them, on the day of resurrection, fallen on their faces, blind, dumb, and deaf. Their refuge is hell. Every time it subsides, we increase them in blazing fire. That is their recompense, because they disbelieved in our verses, and said, when we are bones and crumbled particles, will we truly be resurrected, in a new creation? Do they not see, that God, who created the heavens and the earth, is the one able to create the likes of them? And he has appointed for them a term, about which there is no doubt. But the wrongdoers refuse anything, except disbelief. Say to them, if you possess the depositories of the mercy of my Lord, then you would withhold, out of fear of spending. And ever has the human being been stingy. And we had certainly given Moses 9 evident signs. So ask the children of Israel about when he came to them. And Pharaoh said to him, indeed I think, O Moses, that you are affected by magic. Moses said, you have already known, that none has sent down these signs, except the Lord of the heavens, and the earth as evidence, and indeed I think,
meaning, I am certain,
O Pharaoh, that you are destroyed. So he intended to drive them from the land, but we drowned him, and those with him, all together. And we said after him,
Pharaoh,
to the children of Israel, dwell in the land, and when there comes the promise,
appointment,
of the hereafter, we will bring you forth in one gathering. And with the truth, we have sent it.
The Qur'an.
Down, and with the truth, it has descended. And we have not sent you, O Muhammad, except as a bringer of good tidings, and a warner. And it is a Qur'an which we have separated, by intervals, that you might recite it, to the people over a prolonged period. And we have sent it down progressively. Say, believe in it, or do not believe. Indeed those who were given knowledge, before it.
Meaning, the righteous among the people of the Scriptures, who recognize the truth, contained in the Qur'an.
When it is recited to them, they fall upon their faces, in prostration, and they say, exalted is our Lord. Indeed the promise of our Lord, has been fulfilled. And they fall upon their faces, weeping, and it,
the Qur'an,
increases them, in humble submission. Say, call upon God, or call upon the Most Merciful. Ar-Rahman. Whichever name you call, to him belong the best names. And do not recite too loudly, in your prayer, or too quietly, but seek between that, an intermediate way. And say, Praise to God, who has not taken a son, and has had no partner, in his dominion, and has no need of a protector, out of weakness, and glorify him, with great glorification.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed listening to this book, please give it a like, and consider subscribing to the channel, and click the notifications button, so you don't miss out on any other videos.